All right, seeing it at 6 o'clock, call the July 18, 2016 City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Barnett,
Present.
Mr. Austin,
Here.
Mr. Avon,
Yeah.
Mr. Alt, Mr. Eggers,
Present.
Mr. Fox.
Here.
Mr. Wertz.
Here. Thank you, ma'am. Invocation of the pledge, if you would, please, Mr. Works.
Let's bow our heads. Father, be with this city as we do the work for our community. Be with our fire department and our police department as our first responders to protect our city. Be with our military around the world as they protect and allow us our freedoms. Be with our leaders to make good decisions in the up and coming election cycle. Allow this board to conduct the business to make Franklin a good city, and be with the people in Dallas and Baton Rouge as they have suffered some difficult times. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Announcements, public comments? Hearing none, we'll move into consent agenda.
The motion to approve minutes for June 20th, 2016.
Motion by Barnett, second by Eggers. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. We have no old business, new business.
Make a motion to read all under new business by title only.
Motion by Barnett, second by Austin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. These are for introduction only tonight. The first two items are for introduction only tonight. And action can be taken on them at the first meeting in August, which is the August 1st. First item is Common Council Budgetary Ordinance number 1609, a budgetary ordinance transferring funds between departments. This is, if you gentlemen recall, a couple months ago, maybe a little bit further out, I had asked permission from you all in the appropriation to create a public relations and marketing director position, which we have done that, and we have filled that position. In doing so, you appropriated the entire salary for the year. Obviously, I'm not going to utilize all those since we just filled the position in the last 6 weeks or so. However, in doing some research and some looking, I know it's always been this council's desire to increase the services that we can provide through our police department. And as we have an ever-growing community and it continues to grow fairly rapidly, which is not necessarily a bad thing, we also have to provide the protection for our citizens and our businesses and our children. So, in communication with Chief O'Sullivan, we have found the dollars within our existing budget, 2016 budget, to add a new police officer position, which would take us from 46 to 47 full-time merit officers. To make that happen, the funds that we do not need for the public relations and marketing director position to transfer over to fill this position, police officer position, would be roughly, it's actually more than this, but we only need about $12,000 to make this happen to get us through the end of the year to create that new position. Chief has been able to use some other dollars within his 100 series to make ends meet within his salary for the new officer. And we can make this happen here in the next couple of weeks. With this appropriation, we can make this happen. So this is not a request for any new money. This is just moving from money from the mayor's department or mayor's office over to the police department to match up so we can pay for this new hire.
And Chief, you may want to comment on this as well, would it be quicker, do you need this money now, or, is it something that, does this individual, whoever you're going to hire, need to go to the academy, do you need the money quicker?
It does, but however, with that being said, I'm okay getting in August, that's as early as I can get started anyway.
Okay.
It's a budgetary ordinance, we need two readings.
We have to have two?
Yeah, they
Okay.
get messy about that.
And even if he started, I say he just because the next person on the list was a male. Even if he started in the next week or two, there are dollars within the police department budget to pay him.
Facilitate
Yeah.
until this gets approved.
As long as we had, no one saying, no, we're not gonna appropriate this $12,000. If we have that tonight, then I'll probably tell them to stand down, but if we have a pretty good idea that we can make this happen, then we can move forward. I think the gentleman actually currently works at community corrections as a correctional officer, so has some law enforcement background, which would be helpful.
Chief, I'm just kind of curious, how many people do you have on that list?
There's a list of 15, this will be number 9 on the list. The list expires in December, and we have a new list starting in June.
It's a 2-year list.
2-year list.
You have to maintain that list for 2 years. We have a window of opportunity for anyone to apply. Then they go through testing and psychological evaluations and physical testing and all those kind of things, which is the process we're going through right now, actually. The written test was just in the last few weeks.
Yes.
And once that list is then certified by the merit board at the end of this year, will begin, it take effect in January 1st. So if let's say we hire another officer January 2nd, we would go off the new list and not the one that's going to be expired.
The people that's on the list now, and the new list comes out, do they roll to the top or do they retest?
They retest.
Retest.
There's actually some that are on the current list that retested, they'll be on the next list as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Were you- Any other questions, comments? Okay. Next item is Common Council Ordinance Number 1609, an ordinance amending ordinances 0904 and 0612 to include vaping and e-cigarettes to the city's smoking ordinance.
Sure, I can, because this is in response to the discussion that the council had last week, and then the direction by council reports asked me to prepare an ordinance to add vaping and e-cigarettes to our existing smoking ordinances. When I first discussed this, I indicated to you gentlemen that perhaps the best thing to do would be to repeal and to replace. And my reasoning for that was because there are currently in our municipal code, you folks, for purposes of the audience, you folks pass ordinances, and then what we do is, with Joanna's help, is that we then codify those in our city ordinances. So if anybody were in our city code or municipal code. So if anyone were to go online and say, I'd like to see what our city smoking ordinances are, it would be codified in the municipal code. The thing that I thought was a bit cumbersome was the fact that if you do that now, you will find 3 ordinances that are in there, and I thought from a user-friendly standpoint, it didn't make sense that those folks had to move to different ordinances. However, in doing the research and cognizant of the comments that were made that we didn't want to open up the entire smoking ordinance to another discussion, given the history that occurred regarding the enactment of the first one. I spoke with Joanna, who's in charge from the city standpoint, getting things to the community code. And for some strange reason, the municipal code actually codifies the first smoking ordinance that was passed, which has been repealed in its totality. So really, the easier thing to do is simply contact community code and ask them not to codify those that are already been repealed, and then put these 2 together in reference. So the ordinance that is in front of you does not repeal the existing ordinances that are in effect. It does, however, amend those in terms of the definition to add vaping and e-cigarettes per the discussion. It models, quite frankly, that which was done by the city of Greenwood. I pulled their ordinances and just simply took the definitions and put them in the definitions of the ordinances that we currently have. I was contacted by someone from the American Lung Association, Mr. Torres, maybe you heard or not, spoke with him, who was very helpful in providing me with samples of things that the American Lung Association would like to see. That is not what is before you. While Mr. Torres was very helpful, it was quite expansive and something more that quite frankly, I was not able to find in the state of Indiana. It included things such as marijuana and hookahs and things of that nature. Obviously, the recent cases that came out with Carmel and speeding tickets, I'm cognizant of not wanting to do something that is already legislated by the state, because that is fraught with legal challenges, which will be very expensive. I know the council went through that in the last time. So, based upon that, this is not a repeal or replace, this is a strict amendment, and as the language suggests in it, it adds vaping and e-cigarettes. Some of that language was in fact taken from information provided by Mr. Torres, but the bulk of it is simply taking what was done back then.
Thank you for your efforts.
Well, the only question I have, I think, Joe, you said we can vote next meeting. Is it next meeting? I
Yes.
thought we had to vote another, so.
No, we can introduce it, I mean, with their introduction, now we have a public hearing and vote next week.
Okay.
It's an ordinance.
Any other council comments? Next item is fire truck bid announcement. To be quite honest with you, it was more of a typical, like what we do with road bids and those kind of things. This was an item that was on the Board of Works agenda an hour or so ago, not even that long ago, I guess, to award the bid. Three companies that bid on the new fire engine, and KME was the lowest and most responsive bidder on that. So the contract was awarded to them, subject to funding, and that's kind of, I end that statement with a question mark. Still working on the funding, and hopefully in the coming weeks, I'll be bringing a proposal to you all for funding that. I can give you an idea, we can find no, it was less than that. $607,926.
That was the low bid, the high, there was another bid for $619,946, and then the highest bid was $632,484. And the Board of Works recommended to the extent we wish to fund that, the lowest one is there.
And keep in mind, that's the truck that doesn't have all the accessories and equipment. Any other questions? Have no other business, any council member comments?
There is an RDC meeting in the morning at 8 a.m.
Anyone else? For a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Works, second by Barnett, all those in favor?
Yes.